Hi, this is the man from Modesto. I want to go over some things. These are things in my life where I was given a date or a time frame and about when things would happen, and those things did happen on those time frames. The first one is in April 24th, on April 24th of 1994, I recorded a series of dreams, and those dreams came true. Two of the three came true on April 26th, 1926, so 2 years and 2 days later. And the third dream was an important one, and that was about someone that I knew who would become suicidal, and we were able to defeat that because of those dreams, because those dreams were verified. Another time in 2004, in August of 2004, I was praying about something else, and the Lord told me, He said, I have a new job for you in August. I said, oh, well, August is now. So I sent out all these resumes, and only one job offer came back. At the time, I lived in Athens, Georgia, and the job offer was a location north of Atlanta, an hour-and-a-half drive. I said, wow, I really don't want that job, and I prayed about it just in case, and the Lord said, no, that's not the job I'm talking about. So August came and went, and I just thought, well, I must have heard wrong, well, I need to be more aware. Apparently, I need to do something new, something different. But later in the year, my father called me and said, hey, I'd like you to come move to California and work for me. And I didn't want to do that, so I said, well, I think I'll stay where I am. But later I realized, oh no, I'm no longer a person who makes his own decisions. I'm now a person who makes his decisions in prayer. So I prayed, and the Lord said, yes, I want you to take that job. Now, I'd forgotten about the August thing. That was like past news for me. So I said, okay, I'll take that job. So I negotiated with my father what my pay would be, and that 6 months after I arrived, my pay would increase. So we agreed that I'd move out there in February so I could give notice to my current employer. And actually, in the first prayer, the Lord told me, He said, I have a new job for you. He told me, He said, you're going to make this much money per year. And He told me exactly what, an exact number. And then later, I just negotiated a price per hour. And then after I'd been working for my dad for 6 months, I said, okay, now's the time that we agreed I would make this other hourly wage. And then later, I calculated it out. And when I saw the number, I remembered that it was exactly the number the Lord had told me. And 6 months after February was August. So it had come fulfilled. Even though I'd forgotten about it, it had come true. In August, you'll make this much money. And so that's how much money I made. Now, going back to a further point than that, after I redeployed from the Middle East and I was looking for a home in Georgia, I looked at several homes, and I said, Lord, is this the home? Is this the home? He said, no. So finally I said, Lord, what should I do? The Lord said, I have a home for you for $78,000. And I said, okay. But I looked around and I didn't find one, so finally I just gave up on that. I was looking everywhere for a house that was exactly $78,000 listed, and there were none. So I said, well, forget it. So I went with a real estate agent from Athens, Georgia, Faye Doster, and she showed me a condo. And we went in and we negotiated down the price, and then after everything was done, it was $78,000. I remember looking at the loan document. It was like $78,000 and like some odd $200 or $75 or something like this. I remember looking at it and being like, wow, this is the house that the Lord picked for me. That's so cool. So that was a number that came out exactly like that. Another time when I was still in the Middle East, I was planning to go to Ukraine, Kiev, because the Lord had told me that if I went there, that He had a wife for me there. So I was planning on going to Kiev, and I was praying even about the dates that I would go. And I was praying, well, Lord, when should I come back? Because I already had the date to go, but the date to come back. And He kept showing me this time frame of dates that was like a week or 8 days long. I didn't understand what that was. So finally I just asked some of the other soldiers, I said, does anybody know what these dates are? And they said, oh yeah, that's the week of our security watch for the GA summit in Savannah. I said, okay. So I made sure that I was going to be back before then, and after praying about it, I volunteered to do that job as well. So I came back and I worked the G8 security summit. And at least one reason that I did that is because the Lord wanted me to show that when they have these things, that the government actually sends out agents to infiltrate any groups that they think are going to oppose the government, and then those groups report all of the plans of the groups back to the government agency. So we knew everything that different groups were going to do to protest, what kinds of tools they had, what they were willing to do, what the names of the leaders were, everything. Everything. So if you're a group, watch out for anybody that comes into your group right before you're going to protest. Don't trust those people. They could very well be your betrayer. Okay. In 2004, after I'd gone to Ukraine and met the woman that the Lord said was to be my wife, I was praying, like, well, when will I be married? And he said, September 23rd, 2006. I said, wow, that's a year and a half away. And I thought, wow, it must mean that I'm not going to marry this girl. This is so crazy, people. Like, when the Lord tells you something, just believe it, right? I was like, well, it must not be this girl. And eventually we broke up, and the Lord put me through an ordeal, and then I realized all the things I'd been doing to the woman who is, in fact, now today my wife. And it was like something slid off, something broke. Like I had hardened my heart. And I called her and I apologized. And we instantly came back together, and we planned that we would get married as soon as we could get a ticket for her to fly to the United States. So she flew and she came. We met in Las Vegas. And the earliest ticket we could get was for September 21st. And she said, but I don't want to get married on this September 23rd because of what you said. So we rushed, and we actually got married September 22nd at 11:55. And I had prayed, like, Lord, please, like, arrange it that we won't have to get married on that exact day. But, you know, September 23rd, that was the day of Rosh Hashanah in 2006. So that was cool. Another time in 2000, I had been warned in a dream that a destroyer would come into my life on February 14th, 2000. I'd been warned that in 98 or 99. And in fact, I did meet someone who caused great pain and great agony and great financial ruin in my life on that day. And even though I was warned, I still went in for it. It was stupid. Okay, so people, you can absolutely be warned an exact date. You can get an exact date in a prophecy. You can get an exact date in a dream. The Lord can give you an exact date. The prophet Amos is said to have prophesied an earthquake on Jerusalem exactly 2 years beforehand. The Jews walked out of Egypt 430 years to the day after they arrived. Jesus died exactly on Passover. And later, Peter was also taken on the Passover. And they were going to have Peter killed. Herod wanted to kill Peter, but one angel came and let him go. Just as an aside, that's the end of that message, but just as an aside, one angel came and broke Peter out. That's just to let everybody know. You know, Jesus could have asked for 10,000 angels, but really, one angel could have came and broke Jesus out of prison. That's all it took to break Peter out. This is the man from Modesto reminding you, as always, to pray or be defeated.